Koppai.
Koppai. Hi, hello, this is Caster Misk, and welcome to another Koppai Reacts here on YouTube.com. Koppai Productions. I am one of your hosts, Reactors. Koppai Kaz, joined alongside Mr. Koppai himself, Zach. Risk.
Koppai, 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 go!
Whoa. And today we are going to be talking about the latest announcement by Nintendo that they are going to be entering showbiz. They're getting some of that movie fever. They went and they saw Ratchet and Clank in theaters, the movie based on the video game, based on the movie, based on the video game, based on the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I still have to see that movie. I kind of want to see it really bad because it just looks like, I mean, it's like a historic thing. It's like a video game movie.
Yeah.
It's not the first, but it's definitely more mainstream than others. They probably went and they saw it. They're pumped. Then they went and they watched that Michael Fassbender and the Assassin's Creed trailer teaser.
That could be too.
And they were like, oh, that movie looks pretty hot. That looks pretty dope. Tatsumi Kimishima was like, yo! And he called up Bill Trent and he's like, you seeing this movie trailer? It's based on a video game. We got Mario. How come we ain't doing this? And Bill Trent was like, yo, Kimishima, I hear you. I got Steven Spielberg in my room right now. We're having milk and cookies.
What I predict is that on episode 100, when Bill is on the show, he's going to reveal, because it'll be like next year sometime, right? They'll have the first movie basically done, or at least like
it'll be probably like pre-production and
fully
stuff.
Concepted, all the story done, maybe a script written and everything, so they can share with us what it is. And Bill will have the exclusive scoop on Koppai.
Calling it
saying it now. Hashtag.
Zach was right. Is right. We'll always be right. But no. So this news is pretty big.
Yes.
Because there's lots of area for speculation. We've had talk in the past about Zelda being a Netflix series. We've had that horrendous Super Mario Maker oh my gosh, it already slipped.
It's always
what is it, like the faux pas or the Freudian
Freudian slip.
Where it's like what's on your mind you
Yeah.
accidentally say, like out of the heart the mouth speaks. I got Mario Maker on the mind. But no, they had the terrible Super Mario movie way back in the 90s.
Luigi Mario.
Yeah. I took a film course.
Although back in the day, it was horrible and everything. And I always thought it was horrible. We always knew, like, this is not Mario. But
Yoshi was the one that made me the maddest in the movie.
Definitely. It was disappointing. It was off of the Jurassic Park whole kind of, like, they tried to make it look kind of dinosaur-y like that. And with the dinosaurs show, the puppet show, like Jim Henson's show at the time, I think they were kind of going, it was just, that was the popular image. They didn't go, it was not, like, the whole movie itself was not Mario, but it was silly and weird and like a not Mario.
You can maybe understand where they're coming from and why they approached it that way, right? But it was a bad move.
Yeah,
it was because I took a film course. I'm studying media right now at my university.
It was definitely one of those like early, like first childhood watching a movie and being like disappointed, in something.
Our first disappointment as human beings on planet Earth was the Mario movie, and like I took a film course as
those small heads.
Yeah, and I did for our final project in class. Everything we learned, we had to apply, like the beats that we studied, the how to do scene changes, how to do character development. We had to apply all of that knowledge, and our course final was picking a movie and doing a PowerPoint presentation on it about why or why not it fits this criteria.
Yeah. And
I did just a project on the Mario movie and butchered it in every way. Like, it failed to do absolutely everything that was a film standard. And so, plot lines all over the place.
Yeah.
Ever since then, Nintendo has been like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's hold off.
Yeah.
And recently, we've heard rumblings of as I mentioned, we've heard the Zelda Netflix series. We had the Pikmin shorts. We had Star Fox: The Battle Begins. We've had some Fire Emblem, not shorts, but we've had, what am I thinking of? Oh, we had some Kid Icarus, kind of like the Super Smash Bros. Like thing. We've had different kind of like anime experimentation.
Yeah.
And we've We had the April Fool's joke by IGN where they did the Zelda live action. So it's always been in the back of every human being's mind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you go to the fields and the tribes of the deep African jungles, and you just you get that. What is it? Have you seen that new thing where you can put a earpiece in your ear and it automatically translates people's languages? It's like a hearing aid, but a translator. It's really cool. You go to them and you ask, what's your heart's desire? And everyone in the world says, I want Nintendo movies. It's always in the back of their minds. And so it may finally be happening. Because in an interview with Asahi, I work at Starbucks and we have a drink called the Strawberry Acai Refresher. A-C with a little hook at the bottom. A-I with the I kind of being a dash. It's when you those people that have their little photo captions on their MySpaces and they always use all the letters with the accents and stuff. That's what the word acai looks like on the Starbucks menu. And that's how you're supposed to say it, is acai. And this is spelled A-S-A-H-I, news. It's a Japanese-based news outlet. And Asahi. But I want to say acai, like the Starbucks drink.
Yeah.
And so for the duration of this snippet video, podcast, reaction video, I'm going to be saying acai news. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go as far to say strawberry acai refreshing news. And every time we say it, we'll get paid a penny by
yummy.
Starbucks. Yeah. After this, everyone's going to be or they're going to be driving their car listening to the reaction video and be I'm going to go to Starbucks real quick. And they're going to say, tell them Koppai sent you.
Yeah, please sponsor us.
If we get sponsored by Starbucks,
somewhat, in a weird, distant kind of way.
Because I work for them.
Right.
So I'm getting a paycheck from Starbucks, and then I'm using it to pay for Koppai.
Indeed. So we are sponsored by Starbucks. Sort of, yes.
But, yeah, we don't want to say that maybe because, officially, because then we may be held to a standard and we could get sued. I don't know how, but I'm just worried about all that stuff.
Yes. We are not officially.
We are unofficially sponsored by Starbucks.
Right.
They provide the bills.
Yep.
Nice. Cool. We are starting off big.
Koppai.
Anyway.
Koppai
Starbucks. But in an interview, let's get into it.
Okay.
Because here's what we're gonna do.
Yes, and I wrote down some thoughts as well.
I noticed you doing that. I saw you over there doing it on your pad. They could probably hear you. You have the little scribbles and scribbles.
Yep, I was
scribbling. Draw a little doodle.
But yeah, you read the whole story first before we really get into it.
Okay, cool. Because what we'll do is we'll read the story. We'll hear it from Kimishima himself.
Yeah.
We'll unpack it a little bit, but then what we're gonna do is tackle it franchise by franchise.
Okay.
And figure out what they could do with each of these, how they could approach this.
Well, maybe before we get into your discussion, maybe I should say, because they were kind of tied to.
What'd you write down?
I was just going to point out that these are my thoughts. We've kind of always said that Nintendo is sort of like the Disney of video games, and Disney, of course, is the movies is what they do really best. They've always done that best, animation and stuff. I was just thinking about it's kind of interesting how Nintendo always, Miyamoto is always a huge innovator, and they always wanted to do these pushing the limits way back in the day, but kind of hardware and technology limits them into what they want to do. We were just talking about Super Mario 64 wanted to do multiplayer way back in the day, and maybe they wanted to take on some of these things a little bit earlier than they were allowed to, just because of the way that their company works and the way that they do things. But I was just thinking it's interesting because now we're seeing kind of a video game movies never really were a big thing. They've been kind of, we were talking, kind of hit and miss sometimes. But now it seems like they're kind of coming in a wave because we have World of Warcraft with Blizzard now at the height of...
I'm excited for that. That's been a long time development.
Yeah, and they're a really amazing animation studio that kind of, I would say maybe in a way rivals Nintendo in terms of how people picture their Pixar-like quality of top-level animation.
Mm-hmm.
Blizzard is really top level, and it seems like their new movie could really, since it's all CGI, could really be super impressive.
That was a smart direction for them.
Yeah, and then we have Ratchet and Clank, of course, and Assassin's Creed. I wondered if Nintendo was almost kind of bummer, we didn't get on it like when we kind of, because Miyamoto for years and years now, because we got Pikmin, the short movies, probably, I don't know, like 2 years ago now, or and who knows when he actually started development on those, and he's always been saying, I want to do some like movie like that, and he's always been fascinated by that sort of thing. I wonder if they're like, everybody else is jumping on it. We kind of were the one, like maybe they want to put their foot in the, like get in there as soon as possible and show how they can really dominate this space. Kind of like they have come out with the toys to life, like the Amiibo, and they've really been able to put a dent in that. Like a lot of people, they rush to Amiibo now more so than maybe Disney Infinity figurines and maybe even the Skylanders figurines. Maybe that's somewhat partially what played into Disney Infinity's phasing out now that they're canceled. I don't know if Amiibo sales and how now there's just so much competition in that arena. Disney is no longer dominating it. Nintendo's having massive success. Maybe they could dominate that space as well. So I just thought maybe before we get into like the individual franchises, that would be a point to make about that, because I was thinking maybe Nintendo's actually been wanting to get into this space for a long time, and they're maybe caught like everybody else is. Maybe they caught wind when Miyamoto's like, I want to start making games. So like, maybe it's time. Blizzard doing it. So I think it's the right space. It's the right time. I think they recognize that. Maybe they've seen that for a while.
And it could be perfect timing along with the NX, NX comes out 2017. These movies are being speculated to be launching or being ready. I think we'll read the actual interview, but within the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
1 year out is the NX's first year. 2 years out is right after the NX's first holiday season.
Yeah.
Not this summer, not next summer, but the summer after the NX's first holiday would be a prime time for some Nintendo movies when those IPs are being pushed out. Everyone's playing the NX. Have some movies.
Yeah, well, and also just kind of considering how Ratchet and Clank comes out with the movie kind of combo thing, it's a great way to sort of get people to appreciate the game a bit more when there's like a movie accompanying it, and also when maybe the movie has some obvious holes that only the game can kind of supplement, in that you obviously and inherently are going to think the game's so much better than the movie, like I got to experience. And it's kind of almost how their mobile initiative is supposed to be this complement to their game and console experience. Maybe these movies could be that sort of complement to the game experience, almost like the Pokemon movies are in a way. The whole anime and franchise has always been sort of a complement to selling the franchise as a whole and their main experience and all of that. So yeah. Kotaku,
a video game website, says, quote, in an interview with Strawberry Acai Refresher News, they did not add that part in, I did, quote, one of Japan's biggest newspapers, Nintendo president Tatsumi Kimishima pointed out that when companies license out their characters for movies, they don't directly spend money, and mention how the picture or image business would be a new venture after the Mariners sales is finally closed, because this is reflective now that they've sold the Mariners. They have the money and the gumption, if you will, to get into the showbiz thing. Strawberry Acai Refresher News says,
and like $10 billion in the bank, right? So they've kind of always, if they wanted
to. Strawberry News says, is the picture or image business the movie business? Kimishima responds, quote, movies are representative, but it's also making videos and releasing them in various countries and whatnot. It's various businesses. Now, we're talking to various partners. It's the not too distant future. I'd like to get some sort of form ironed out. Strawberry Acai News responds and says, quote, in the past, there was that Super Mario movie. Kimishima replies, quote, the box office receipts on that weren't so good. But this time, rather than licensing, our current thinking is that we'd like to do as much as we can ourselves. Strawberry Acai Refreshing News says, quote, as for your partner, is that like a Hollywood movie company? Kimishima says, quote, something like that. It doesn't necessarily need to be Hollywood, and once it's been decided where it will be, then at that time we can talk about it. However, I want to do this thing together with a partner who is able to take things globally. And then Kotaku notes that this isn't a confirmation, but Nintendo does have a partnership to bring its characters to Universal Studios in Japan. And I had thought about that before I read that from Kotaku. I was really hoping we could take credit for that speculation. Kotaku! Dag nabbit, you video game website. You beat me to it.
Yeah.
Gawker Media. You son of a guns. You know how to get the news out there. Strawberry Acai News says, quote, so, will you do another live action movie? Kimishimi says, quote, we've done that before, so probably not a live action one. Once again, Kotaku notes, recently there have been rumors of a live-action Pokemon movie. I think Pokemon and any of this Nintendo stuff is unrelated. Me personally.
Yeah.
I think Pokemon completely operates on their own accord.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's related at all. Koppai disclaimer. But Kotaku wanted to throw that out there. Strawberry Acai News says, when or will it be something like Disney or Pixar then? Kimishimi replies, quote, because we have IPs, we're thinking we could also do something like that. It is something to keep in mind as we make all this concrete. Strawberry Acai Refreshing News says, quote, will you announce the work sometime this year? Kimishimi says, quote, I cannot definitely say this year as we're currently in the talks. If funds flow in this year, I'm saying I'd like to put that money to use. And I'm not saying I'd like to use it 5 years in the future. I want to implement it before then. Strawberry Acai Refreshing News says, quote, the movie is going to be something like Super Mario or Legend of Zelda? Just saying, Strawberry Acai News, you know the questions to ask. Kimishimi responded, quote, I want to use an IP that is popular with everyone. Lock that in your brains, folks. I want to use an IP that is popular with everyone.
That's E for everyone.
E for everyone.
P for popular.
And so this is going to be one that they're not going to be digging in the trenches here. This is going to be one there. This is something big. But Kimishimi says, quote, I'm not saying it's going to be Super Mario.
Oh.
I'm only saying we'll put out something that everyone knows very well. So, because people will jump and they're like, everyone knows Mario.
Zelda,
But he's saying, yeah. Everyone knows Zelda. Everyone may not know Pikmin though. You know, I mean, so it's good. You gotta take all that into consideration. We're gonna talk about it all though. Strawberry Acai goes on to say, quote, if you're gonna do a movie, I think you'd move forward with The Legend of Zelda, which is especially popular abroad. Kotaku notes that last year there was a report of a Legend of Zelda Netflix TV series, which we've already talked about. Come on, Kotaku. And then Kimishimi said, quote, we're certainly aware that there is an immense demand for that one. And then Strawberry Acai News says, correct. Huge. The Nintendo executive, Kotaku says, went on to point to the Pokemon movie, stating, quote, it's not like this is a realm we're inexperienced with. And it's also good to note that Kimishima, prior to being the president of Nintendo, he was leading Pokemon, the Pokemon company. So he knows how to do
I had
Pokemon
forgotten
movies.
about that, but yep.
He knows how to do Pokemon movies. He knows, the Pokemon movies were huge.
Yeah.
Beyond gamers. And he really did a good job at enforcing the Pokemon brand. So that's huge.
Yeah.
He explained that the goal, Kotaku says, of these movies is to spread Nintendo's IPs, and that while making games and game hardware is the company's core business, these movies will help the larger picture for more traditional advertising. Kotaku says, though, what about that Shigeru Miyamoto guy, the creative fellow? Will he be involved in the movies? According to Kimishima, quote, of course. End quote. Miyamoto will be involved because for games he's worked with many other producers helping them develop it. It sounds like movies and whatnot would be a logical extension of that, and we'll wait to see. It's also important to note that Miyamoto is no longer necessarily a game developer of Nintendo. He is simply the creative fellow. And so even with a lot of the recent games, like Platinum Games took the lead on Star Fox.
Right.
And while Miyamoto advised for that, he wasn't the core developer of it. It was Platinum Games, and along with Nintendo, Same with Super Mario 3D World, Super Mario Maker, Splatoon and stuff. Miyamoto was involved in all those products as a general supervisor or producer, but he wasn't developing those. We need to do a separate discussion one of these days on the whole Miyamoto thing.
Yeah.
Because there's so much discussion online about Miyamoto being a detriment to Nintendo. And we need to blow that out of the water one of these days. But that's for a different time.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I mean, he'll be definitely involved. Kimishima says, of course, he's going to use him. He's the creative fellow of Nintendo.
Right.
And he is... I mean, if it's going to be a popular franchise of Nintendo, it's going to be a Miyamoto franchise. Because really almost, I think almost all Nintendo franchises are Miyamoto franchises.
Pretty much. And all of the ones that you would think of as if they're going to go with the Ratchet and Clank route or something like that, Miyamoto's franchises. Otherwise, you just have like really a Fire Emblem. Animal Crossing necessarily isn't a Miyamoto franchise. That is kind of the cute charm in children's, but, I don't know. But they could definitely do an Animal Crossing movie where somebody just moves into town. But what would the plot? That would be interesting.
Paying off your debt to...
Yeah, it is such an everyday thing in the whole movie, but I'm sure it'd be something about it. But what would it get to the climax and epic conclusion to
You pay off your house loan. And you're finally free from the clutches.
And you do that little dance thing.
You have the cap and you have a whole good cast. And so that's all the things.
Yeah.
We're going to keep all of that in the back of our mind now as we move forward, and we're going to tackle the most popular, and by most popular we mean every single one, because they're all popular.
Right.
Nintendo franchises in no particular order.
There's no play like it.
There's no play like... I actually finally saw the logo that you were talking about when I was making the thumbnails. Uh-huh. That looks legit.
Yeah.
And I think it confirms that there's going to be traditional buttons on the
and it's kind of cool. Did you see the GIF for it and how it kind of morphs into that?
No.
I thought it looked really nice. Yeah.
I'll have to see the GIF. I just saw the picture. So, we're going to tackle each franchise series by series and ask ourselves, how could this work as a movie? First and foremost, DK.
Donkey Kong.
How could Donkey Kong work as a movie? Your bananas are stolen.
Yeah. I think
the
it
whole
worked
world
really well as a movie, actually. The stuff in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which we'll probably get to later, but Diddy Kong in that was so hilarious.
Diddy Kong's funny.
Some of the facial expressions and stuff are just classic. There's a whole bunch of stuff. They have a really huge cast in that game of characters that they can use.
You have Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, King K. Rool, Cranky Kong.
One of the things that might be interesting to note, though, about that is that a lot of I have Tropical Freeze. I haven't gotten much into it.
I have the 3DS.
But a lot of the progress, story-wise, and development of the Donkey Kong franchise and all these cast of characters was done by Rare in the 90s.
That's true.
And so I don't know how... it seems in the latest one, with the... the comeback it's kind of had with the Wii one, and then they did it on the 3DS. They ported
Retro
it, and then they had the new Wii U one. Retro. It seems maybe they're doing more of the gameplay thing, the more just Mario mechanics, making a game that's less of expanding and these silly, quirky little story things. I mean, I guess since we're talking about Nintendo, and we definitely have full faith in their ability to make a funny, cute, good thing. In the hands of Donkey Kong and what it truly spiritually is, I would think that you have to make note at least of Rare's influence in creating.
I mean, I could imagine I could imagine a movie poster for Donkey Kong the movie, and it's just expand, or something, I mean because Ratchet and Clank was kick some asteroid.
Yeah.
And so I don't imagine Nintendo going that far out, but I would imagine if there was going to be a franchise that did something a little bit more on the risque side, it would be Donkey Kong, because it just naturally is.
That's true.
When I think of Donkey Kong as a movie, I think of two examples of how they could what it could be maybe inspired by or be similar to. First, Jungle Book. I could imagine them doing an animated sort of this kind of the jungle sort of thing. You got King K. Rool, you got King Louie and all of that. I mean, you just have those kind of parallels. I mean, there's no man cub and stuff, but you have Donkey Kong. Like, there's just kind of like that jungle aesthetic. Like, it's a really fun setting for a movie, an animated kids movie. There's always lots of stuff to do in the jungle. Different animals are always fun.
They could really do some gritty, cool stuff with the Donkey Kong franchise, I think, in a movie. Even if they didn't take the whole silly kind of cute approach, if they did some gritty stuff, they could actually do some stuff. I could see Donkey Kong in like some storm with like just a silhouette. Then it's like all his furs just wet and mad, and then I
imagine him looking a lot like Sullivan or something from Monsters Inc. That fur and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the other inspiration, I think, because you're talking about how Donkey Kong is pretty much rooted in gameplay now, and the story has been tossed aside.
Yeah.
I think of Angry Birds and the Angry Birds movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of that.
I've seen like one trailer, and they did a very good job at like, you have this bird, he gets hit on the head, he's angry, he goes attacks these pigs. Like, there's just very like, you wouldn't think of that like with the Angry Birds game, because there's no story in the Angry Birds game besides like the few cutscenes that go between. I can imagine that's what Donkey Kong is. He gets his bananas stolen by King K. Rool.
Yeah.
And it's all about just like basically a blank slate for jokes. Just jokes in the jungle. And nothing else. Because that seems like all the Angry Birds. Angry Birds movie is how can we make angry jokes and stuff like and puns, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
And so I would like that.
It sounds almost Looney Toony in a way.
Yeah. And Donkey Kong, I mean, even is kind of beyond Nintendo because it's Donkey Kong, but it's also you've seen Donkey Kong in the Pixels movie. Donkey Kong was kind of present in like Wreck-It Ralph.
He's so iconic.
Yeah, it's like arcades almost. It's beyond Nintendo. It's just gaming as a whole. Yeah. Everyone knows like that classic going up and getting hit by the barrels. And so maybe we could even see they could do a lot with that. End of snippet. Another movie that could work or another franchise that could work with Nintendo as a movie. Super Mario. Mario, Jumpman Mario.
Jumpman the movie.
Jumpman the movie. You've never jumped. When you say jump, he says how high. There's your movie tagline.
There you go, Nintendo. Bill, come on the show.
That one's free, Bill. You can take it. Take it to the bank. Call it Kimishima and be like, I say jump. You say how high. And then just hang up the phone. No, we're talking about this prior to the recording. Super Mario is an obvious choice for a Nintendo movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone knows Mario. I mean, he's an obvious choice for mobile. He's an obvious choice for an NX launch title. He's an obvious choice for a TV show.
Yeah.
He's an obvious choice for a movie. The problem is, you have a few things here.
Okay.
Mario's the same. It's the same problem with all these Nintendo games. Is you need to find a way to make up for the lack. There's not going to be gameplay in here. Mario, more so than almost any other franchise in the world, is rooted in his appeal from the get-go is his gaming, the game mechanics. When you look at Super Mario Bros. The original, it's the platforming and the way he feels that makes that game stand out above anything else. As a matter of fact, his image and him being Mario is probably the detriment to that game when you compare him to Sonic. Sonic's a cooler mascot, but it's Mario's gameplay that makes him excel. When you look at Super Mario, I mean, there's the aesthetics and the beauty, but when you look at Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Galaxy, it's the platforming that makes it excel over other franchises.
Okay.
And so it's really, because of that, his image now and his brand does make him exceptional. It does have some weight to it.
Yeah.
But it's because originally of the platforming and gameplay mechanics. And so what I'm trying to say is to have Mario without the platforming, which would be a movie, is tricky.
Well, okay. Can I interject? Can I counter that? Can I play devil's advocate?
Zach, you may speak.
Thank you. These are my thoughts. Well, if Nintendo's gonna do more than one movie, if this is something that they're really committed to and serious about, inevitably we're going to have to see a Mario movie. Like, it would be one of, like, the first 3 movies I would think that they'd make. We're going to see if this is something they're committed to.
We said the same thing about mobile. And we've gotten Miitomo, Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing. Mario has yet to see
That's true.
the face of my iPhone.
However, I will also add this point that, like, okay, Mario, I'd still stand by that we might get a Mario mobile title. Something like that. Although mobile in Mario is tricky, I'll say that you can maybe compare how Mario's tricky with the platform element to a movie and how it's
I'm
tricky
surprised
with
they made an endless runner with Mario
the physical controller and the mobile thing. But with Mario, you have the Mario RPG and the 7 stars. You have Paper Mario. You have Mario and Luigi Superstar, where they've done stories.
Oh, Mario and Luigi would be so good. The writing for Mario and Luigi,
and always like even
impeccable.
Even think about this. Even the covers of like the Mario and Luigi games and stuff. Some of them have just like a really like movie poster almost kind of look. I didn't
even think of that of like the series, like because we were talking even prior, like Galaxy, and I was thinking when I was thinking of a Mario movie, I was thinking like Sunshine.
And those games are hilarious.
Those jokes
amazing.
are so funny.
So
the Paper Mario jokes used to be really funny, and like
I hope that they do a Mario game, because they easily could.
Yeah, it would need to be. I think if they do a Mario movie, although they probably want Super in the title, like they probably want Super Mario or whatever. But I would think the best route is what you just said right there. Yeah. Mario and Luigi would need to be the movie. And they could do...
Luigi's Mansion, too. Maybe.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
They could even combine it, They could have, like, Mario and Luigi, but that's part
I was also going to say bring up that point, that they can add elements from all of these things. They could have platforming, gaming elements, because everybody knows Mario's jump and hitting a block
whoever does the writing for the Mario and Luigi games needs to be on board, because... Mario doesn't talk.
Because even in the Mario and Luigi games, they do some of that parodying.
The Great Gonzalez needs to be... I think that's from the Paper Mario games, actually.
Which, like we say, they could combine all elements. I think they just do that in the Mario and Luigi and all of those story-driven Mario games. They do parody the main games a lot.
Yeah, and
so
it would be... Because the best thing about the Paper Mario games, and especially the Mario and Luigi games, is they do a great job at breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
And calling out the Nintendo and Mario tropes.
Those
the green Mario, like they always address Luigi as and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
those guards when they're like, "Are you really Mario?" and then he just jumps and they're like, "Oh my god,
you really are him." Because he's like the only character in that universe that can jump.
Yeah.
And so they could easily do that in a movie where it's like, there could be a scene in a Mario movie where it's like, how do we know you're really Super Mario? Mm-hmm. And he jumps and says, "Wow!" It's like, "Oh, darn, you are him."
Yeah, exactly.
And just bow before him and stuff.
Yep.
That's what we want to see out of a Mario movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Make it happen, Bill.
That's what I want him to reveal when he's on episode 100. Bill, reveal that. We demand it.
He'll be on episode 100, and Bill will be like,
"Kaz is whatever
I say
you
jump,"
made.
and we'll both be like, "How high?" Ooh.
And that'll end the snippet.
That's the end of the snippet?
That'll end that snippet in that episode.
In that episode? I was gonna say. I'm like, you kind of just threw that on me. I'm not ready to end this snippet yet.
He'll be so in sync with us that we'll all end this snippets together.
He listens to all of these, so by then he'll have listened to 99 episodes, and he'll be like, "I know you guys so well."
Yeah.
And we'll give Bill a hug, and then Zane will come over, and we'll all play Typo Man.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, he'll be on his way in the airplane, while we're recording.
His own personal airplane. Zane just flying in his little pilot wings thing. But yeah, Super Mario and Luigi movie.
Yes.
That's the way you go with Mario. And you'd have to get Charles Martinet.
Definitely.
To do the voice.
Yes.
Cool. Moving on. How could Pikmin work as a movie? We've seen Pikmin shorts.
Yeah.
Pikmin itself as a video game does have a pretty nice story. There's the whole origin story of Captain Olimar. There's Alf and Charlie and Brittany. There's every time you end a day in the first Pikmin, there's a diary that you have or a journal. And they have writing for each day that you end. There's different sort of stories, backlogs to all of that. There's a lore in each planet that you explore. And then, you just have the cuteness of the Pikmin themselves that we've seen in the shorts. And then, obviously, you have all of planet Koppai to explore.
Yeah.
Someone's listening right now to Koppai Podcast or this Koppai Reacts that's listened to us in the past, and they're going, wait a second, Koppai is a planet in Pikmin? No way! Is that how you guys got your name? Oh, whoa! It's true. Although that's not why we're named Koppai.
Yeah.
We're going to leave that little piece of trivia for those that truly know Nintendo.
And truly dig.
I guess, yeah. But anyway, I think the ideal Pikmin movie is a combination of the shorts, because the shorts were primarily focused on the Pikmin.
Yeah.
And their cute little, let's pick this up, let's move this, let's do this, this, and that.
Uh-huh.
Because that worked well. There's like very little dialogue, it's just, there's no need. If they were to do a Pikmin movie, they would need to explore that plot line of the economic crisis of Hoctate, which is, I think, the story of Pikmin 2, where you come back from Pikmin 1 with all sorts of like discoveries of the Pikmin planet. The guy from Hoctate says, yo, go back to that planet and get a bunch of the treasures. And so you go back and you use your Pikmin to collect treasures. Pikmin 3 is all about the food crisis of Koppai, where you guys are out of food, so you go to a planet and you get juices. So it would need to be something like that. That same sort of like, you're on a planet, you have the backstory of these Koppaites, of these Hoctations, and you need to have that sort of story of, okay, you have this, you have space travel, you have the battle logs. I would think that you'd want to do Captain Olimar, but he could very much so be like some sort of like legend and stuff. But you have Alf, Brittany, Charlie. The only reason I say Alf, Brittany, Charlie should be the focus is just because then you have that sort of, you can have one person that's more, by the books, one person that's more brute force, and one person that's more street smarts, that kind of small, medium, large mentality. You got the calm, reserved, and then more gusto and confident, power, courageous, wisdom. All of the good. The Trinity's always good for leads. So I would think you'd want them as the leads. But then, you go, you explore the planet, you discover the Pikmin, you use their cute adorableness, and I think that all accompanies each other very well. I think then you just go, you take what you've already seen in the Pikmin games and just expand it.
Yeah.
Expand the beginning intro scene, expand the battle logs, and then just have a few epic sequences like the Pikmin shorts that we've seen, where it's just battles and discoveries of the local wildlife. The wildlife's crucial.
Yeah.
The Bulborbs.
Yes.
The Chewbacca's and the Wookiees.
I've played my fair share of Pikmin 2 and Pikmin 3.
Your fair share of it?
Yeah, I played quite a bit. More of Pikmin 3. I played quite into that. Quite a bit. Pikmin 2 I started several times but never made it too deep into. So I don't know. I'm not as familiar as the franchise as you are in terms of the story and everything.
Pikmin 1 was my go-to jam. The GameCube era for me just altogether was...
Right.
That was when I was... How old would I have been? That's 2001. That'd be first grade for me.
Yeah, I do remember you being very into those games. My thought is that this is one of the most... compared to like Mario and stuff, it's one of the most Pixar-like franchises that they could do. And when we see the shorts, it's very Pixar-like. And I really like how there's the whole... You're really small on these planets with a lot of big objects, and they can do some really cool effects with that, like a Bug's Life sort of effect, or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, where things are super big, and that's just always Ant-Man is a recent movie where they do sort of that thing. Have you seen Ant-Man? I've seen a bit of it.
Very good.
Yeah, and
highly recommended.
Yeah, and so I think that they can just do a lot of like not even thinking about the story, but just thinking about the cool concepts, and it seems like they're always able to interject these Pikmin if they don't have them talk really with personality and character, and then they can have people like Olimar and stuff be the ones that talk and communicate and have a speaking role in it,
or even like a narration over it. Like maybe you don't have like dialogue between Olimar and the Pikmin, I mean, it's like the kind of diaries that you would see at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, that's just narrated over. You could get, like, a really nice voice. Someone get some Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Doing some commentary over it as the voice of Olimar.
That'd be really nice, actually. Because it's such a soothing game, too, and, like... Yeah. Although there are some horrific...
When I arrived on Planet Hoctade, I noticed right away that the Pikmin were picking up the battery from the waters.
Tom Hanks should do something, too.
And the waters are receding. The blue Pikmin went into the water, and the waters
Nice Morgan Freeman impression.
Is that really good? Is that as good as my Alabama? Now, I've listened to you talk.
I think that's better.
And I've listened to you talk. Now you gotta listen to me talk. I heard you out. Oh man! Oh my, Christopher Walken! I got a mean Christopher Walken. He could do the narration of the Pikmin game. I arrived on the Pikmin planet, and I was like, "Pikmin, what are you doing?"
And I can do a Bill Trinan impression.
Hey
guys, what's up? It's Bill here.
Nice, but I think that's the ideal thing. The tricky part would be the dialogue. Yeah. So I'm trying to think. You were talking, and I zoned out because I was trying to think what Pixar, Disney, whatever movie has a silent approach. You know,
WALL-E, kind of in a way.
WALL-E, you busted that out quick. I wasn't even thinking of WALL-E. Because WALL-E is beautiful.
Yeah.
Because WALL-E is a very similar thing where you have this distant planet with no dialogue, but then back on, what is it? What do they call it? There was a brilliant name for where all the humans are in WALL-E. What was the name of their...
It wasn't just Earth?
No, because they're off on some sort of distant spaceship, you know?
Yeah.
And there was a name for it that was actually incredibly deep and symbolic. Because I did a lot of study on the Pixar theory. Love the Pixar theory.
Yeah.
And there was a name for it. I forgot what it was. But that's a perfect example. And it's nice that we've kind of been relating to each franchise with a kind of already established Pixar Disney movie. And Pikmin should follow the formula of WALL-E. Obviously taking its own things. So we're not just mimicking and mirroring these and lacking originality and innovation. But WALL-E's a good template for how to do something like that. Moving on. Yeah! I'll hit him so hard, he'll be a lick to the past. How would The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Skyward Sword, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Link to the Past, Link Between Worlds, Triforce Heroes work as a blockbuster Hollywood Bollywood movie? Get Aziz Ansari to star as Link. Oh no! I'm Aziz Ansari! How's that impression for you? Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no. What?
We both at the same time. We both ummed.
You just said ready? 1, 2, 3, Okay. Legend of Zelda. How would Legend of Zelda work as a movie?
Well, I was gonna say it's kind of cool. Actually, every Zelda game so far,
tell me,
has had basically a movie in itself. Like when you can go on YouTube. And these games nowadays, almost every game that has a lot of cutscenes, you can basically
such game the movie,
right? And Zelda has those, and it's 3 hours or more for these games, and it's absolutely insane. Yeah. Because when I've been playing Twilight Princess HD, and took several weeks off, and instead of watching a let's play of it or
just watch the cutscenes,
reading, I just watched all the cutscenes up to where I had left off, and it was just I was just, wow, this is just crazy how much time and effort and choreography and everything that they put into making, basically on top of there being a whole entire Zelda game where you're playing 60, 70 possible hours in this game. There's a whole movie going on too that you're watching alongside of it, and it's really impressive. And they could totally go that route with a Zelda movie where it's just an accompaniment, like we were talking about with the whole Ratchet and Clank accompaniment. Zelda, they could have done a Zelda movie that's animated in the style of what we see for the Zelda NX Wii U game, where it looks very artsy and animated. It doesn't even look really like a game almost. It looks painted, and also even like the image that they released just recently has that paintbrush like splatter effect, because they really like that. And even with Skyward Sword, and Wind Waker back then, and they like this doing the art style, experimenting with artsiness, and just Nintendo in general with Woolly World and all their experiments with these different styles. They love that whole thing. So they could have easily done an accompaniment to Zelda Wii U NX with this, and maybe they're still gonna. That'd be. Well, hopefully they do like a Star Fox sort of like Battle Begins with Zelda NX. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, because I mean we're 2 to 3 years out from whatever this movies are, because he says he wants them before 5 years. Yeah, Kimishima said that. So you have to think we got Skyward Sword in 2012. We're getting Zelda NX in 2017. 5 years later. That's about the break between Zeldas. 4 to 5 years is usually what it is.
To me, that I don't know if that seems entirely realistic. Like, I'm wondering what he's thinking about that, because like a movie, we see animated movies all the time, and they take a long time, especially if you're doing voice acting and just the whole concept to animation. I wonder if he's thinking 5 years to like really get it going.
I think he wants it out in 5 years.
Like, that just seems, I don't know if that's entirely, like, how long did
Ratchet
I think
it's possible. You look at how fast these Pixar movies are spun out. They had Good Dinosaur, and they had Inside Out. And
but those develop, like, when did they start progress on those movies? It usually takes quite a long time, and maybe they matched up and had separate independent places working on each one.
You hold down the fort. Let's look at Inside Out, for example.
Yeah.
Let's pull it up on Wikipedia here.
When the development started on that.
Because Wikipedia will be able to tell us all.
And I know that it might be speeding up. The process might be speeding up. And I know things like Shrek and stuff, those took so long to create.
But you had the Chris Farley thing in there.
But I'm talking, like, even Toy Story and these movies that are, like, high quality, they take quite a long time to get done, to make a really good concept, to make everything right. Maybe, like I'm saying, maybe the process is sped up. Maybe since Nintendo is such an animation powerhouse, they have a lot of experience with animation, that it wouldn't be as big of an issue. Maybe it'll go quicker for them. That's always a possibility. So, I could see that happening, but I don't know. I wonder, because the Ratchet and Clank movie, that seemed like it had a whole bunch of delays, and that finally came out. Like, it went kind of dark for a while. Like, people were wondering, are we ever going to hear about this again? Like, 2 years goes by, and then, like, oh, here it is again. And how long did that whole thing go on? And how long did that all take? And if they're doing accompanying games that they're also developing, if they went that route, which they haven't said that, but
I mean, they don't necessarily need to, I think, accompany games as much as like Ratchet did, because Ratchet was a complete reboot and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, we look at that as an example, because you look at Assassin's Creed, for example, and that's not accompanying it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the Assassin's Creed movie is more of a substitute, and so maybe if they were to do like a Zelda movie, it could be like Zelda NX launches March 2017.
Yeah.
Zelda movie then takes the place for a new Zelda game in 2019, 2020.
Right.
Then you have another new Zelda game in 2022.
Yeah.
And so like you can have then like a movie to kind of break and kind of give people that satisfaction of like a Zelda experience.
Mm-hmm.
So looking up here like with Inside Out as an example
I'm gonna grab my drink real quick.
Yeah, drink. Looking at Inside Out real quick as an example for when movies, like how long a movie takes to get made, it's kind of hard to get a definitive thing on it, but it looks like the screenwriting and all of that was happening around 2011. So 4 years overall for the game to be, or for the movie Inside Out to be written. Casting was done in 2013.
Not too bad.
It also did, though, have some turmoil with the passing of Steve Jobs. He normally gave input on Pixar stuff like that.
Yeah.
And John Lasseter, I believe is how you say his name, he was kind of stepping aside from Pixar at that time too. I didn't realize that the guy that made it was the person that headed up the movie Up.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Really interesting, because Up was actually like one of his first big movies, it sounded like, from what I read just real briefly there.
Right.
And that gave him the trust of Pixar Studios to go on and make another movie. So, really cool.
Yeah.
It also explains the Up Easter eggs in Inside Out.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking with Zelda, before we end out this snippet on Zelda, I just want to ask, should they tackle the already established Zelda stories? Should we have a Wind Waker movie? Should we have a Spirit Tracks movie? Should we have Ocarina of Time, like should it be, or
right?
I mean, because Ocarina of Time, people would be like, that's the go-to, just like you would have,
right,
Super Mario as the go-to.
Like, I think that because Zelda is so like every story, they could do that, and it might be smart to do something like you say there, because then they could definitely have a lot of movies to make. It'd be kind of like the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars franchises, where you just have a lot of movies to make. Or they could do just because Zelda, every game kind of has a similar story of, the hero that rises up. You have to go collect these things, and Ganon and the Zelda and all that. They can make just a definitive sort of how each game is where this is just Zelda. Yeah. And how even like the new game is just called just The Legend of Zelda.
And I would think, me personally, I think the best route to go would be to make a completely independent story. My fear is that if they announce Zelda Ocarina of Time as like the title of the movie, there's going to be immediately expectations for it that will just 100% be failed to be met.
Yeah.
There's no possible way, because there's a pacing with the dungeons and with the world exploration and with the discoveries of the new tools
and the nostalgia,
stuff.
All that.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much that you'd have to compensate for, which you couldn't do in a movie. But if they do like a Zelda yada yada title, and it is Zelda, it is Link, it is there's the fan service, there's the yada yada yada, there's maybe like a hey listen or something. There's all of that.
Maybe.
But it's its own independent story.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'd like to see that after Spirit Tracks.
Oh.
I'd like to see, because you have Wind Waker, whole world's flooded. You have Phantom Hourglass where they're exploring and getting out in the ocean. Spirit Tracks is founding the new Hyrule. Then you can just have, like, because we haven't seen that, which leads me also to my next question, and you can answer both questions. Where would you like to see it in the timeline? But also, congruent with that thought process, wherever it is in the Zelda timeline, if it is included in the timeline, you could easily do a Hyrule Warrior sort of thing, where it's just kind of its own independent thing.
Yeah.
What's the art style?
Yeah.
Is it live action?
Yeah.
Is it Ocarina of Time, kind of Hyrule Warrior sort of CGI? Or is it Wind Waker, Toon Link? Because I could easily imagine Toon Link being the one that runs it.
And that's what you're saying with your whole Spirit Tracks. You'd like that. You'd like that right off the bat.
Because he's so expressive.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is that I think that we should, E3's coming up really soon. And
Is that where they announce it?
No, I doubt that. That'd be really awesome. But what I'm saying is that why focus on Spirit Tracks? Why focus on Ocarina of Time? Why focus on Twilight Princess when it's almost like when a really good band, or maybe it's better. A better metaphor would be a new season of a show you really love, like
Community.
Better Call Saul, Community, Game of Thrones.
6 seasons in a movie.
Where basically usually. Hopefully,
Where's Troy?
Hopefully the case is where when you're watching a show, the latest season is the best. Where it's like, we're in the best right now. Maybe your favorite was, but it's like, we're just like, and I would say Game of Thrones so far has been like, we're at like some of the best that we've ever had. And what I'm saying with Zelda,
only example that doesn't work for that is The Walking Dead.
Right, and I was kind of purposely excluding that. Sorry.
The latest season of The Walking Dead, no matter when you're watching it, is always the worst.
Yeah, that's true.
Shots fired! Dislike bars, fills up. No, please. Actually, no. There were some good moments in the latest season of The Walking Dead. I actually was a fan of the end of the latest season. I liked that cliffhanger.
Yeah. I didn't like it. But.
I understand the hate for it. I appreciate it.
But do you see where I'm going with this? Is that the latest is usually like, why not? I'd kind of want it to be the latest, because I really like this new style. What we're seeing, this could be like the definitive what Zelda should be. What is this lore? We haven't really seen a lot of it. This sort of like this all looks really mysterious. The art style's beautiful. It all looks gorgeous. It's up modern. It's like, why not wait for this? Why go back in the past? Let's just stay where it is or move forward. Let's where all their innovations have gone, have all led to this point. It's matured. It's where Zelda is now. I say, I want the newest Zelda. I want one in the style of either the newest one or wherever we're going after that. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I would rather not see something like Twilight or Ocarina or Spirit Tracks or something that.
I just can't wait. I love a Majora's Mask movie.
That might be my exception. Something like that.
The origin story of like Majora.
Yeah.
Like Majora's Wrath, you know, like
Majora.
That'd
be really cool. They should do some, like, they really need to do more like series too, not just movies. They need to do like how Batman, you know, has the animated series on top of having some live action or something like that. They need to do more of just like a side sort of, because they have released like some comics, like Majora's and Ocarina has like a manga and all that.
Link
sort of thing.
versus Superman.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That one's free with Ben Affleck starring as Link.
Yeah. Long discussion we've had going.
And we're not even any close to done. I say we just keep going.
Really?
There's no reason to stop.
That's true.
Where do we got to be?
Nowhere.
We're gonna do some live streaming after this probably. But,
yeah, that's true.
But this is perfect.
Yeah. How many more we got?
I'm not even gonna show you.
Okay.
I feel like you just get discouraged and start trying to make each discussion a little bit faster. And
all right,
we gotta take our time.
Yeah.
One thing I want to wrap up this Zelda thing. I do want to say, if you enjoy,
we're making up for episode 22.
Hey, episode 22 is good, man. You're a little quiet in it, but I've
hopefully I'm a little clearer now.
I've listened back to it several times while editing it and getting the thumbnails made for it in the backgrounds. And there's lots of good discussion in it.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, if you enjoy our Zelda discussion, we do have over on Patreon.com/Koppai Productions. See how I did the slash loud there because it's Zelda. Slash! Yeah.
I'm up close to the mic.
Get right up in the mic and just go, hey, listen.
Hey, listen.
No, like Navi.
Oh. What? Hey.
Listen. Hey. Listen. What's up?
Okay, now get away from the mic because it's going to be like really loud. I do want to say, if you enjoy our Zelda discussion, head over to patreon.com/Koppai Productions, where you can listen to our celebration of 25 years. Right? 30 years of Zelda. Right? 20 years of Pokemon, 15 of Animal Crossing, 30 of Zelda.
30, yeah.
Because 25 was with Skyward Sword. Yep. And so we have an hour-long discussion over there of just Zelda, the franchise, our favorite memories, the speculation for the NX version. And also, if you pay $1 over there and get that episode, you also get, for free, a Pokemon discussion and an Animal Crossing discussion, each one an hour long. And in a couple weeks, we're also going to have another discussion for the month of June. Free episode, or, well, not free. I mean, $1, you get the episode.
Pretty much free.
Yeah.
Just pull up your couch cushions.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably 4 quarters in your house. You give those to us, you get 3 hours of discussion, and you'll get 4 hours of discussion, coming up here soon. Plus, you get to support us, make us live the dream so we can keep doing reaction videos like this. Moving on. Metroid, a movie starring Scarlett Johansson as Zero Suit Samus. Or Kristen Wiig.
No.
Those are my 2 options. Scarlett Johansson or Melissa McCarthy. Zero Suit Samus. End of discussion. End of snippet.
All right.
I'll make a snippet and have it titled "Our Thoughts" or "Our Predictions" or "Our Hopes for a Metroid Movie," and the thumbnail will be Melissa McCarthy, Scarlett Johansson, and then the smash pose of Samus in the middle.
All 3 of them, or was it just 2 people?
Yeah, like I'll have like a picture of Melissa.
Yeah.
And then a cutout of Scarlett over, and then the ping file with the transparent background, of.
Okay.
Samus.
And it's Federation Force, the movie.
Oh my gosh. This one's trickier, I think.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, it's already I don't know. They've messed up. Arguably, a lot of fans. I'm not a hardcore Metroid fan, but I know how Metroid fans have felt about them taking Samus and making her...
And here's the thing.
...speak and all that.
You have a potential here. We've talked about with Star Fox, but I think you have even more so a potential here for a Star Wars type movie. here's my Metroid movie pitch. And since you don't know much about Metroid, and since we do need to move on to different things, this can be it right here. Kasdan Risk's Metroid movie pitch. Let me know what you think. Sandra Bullock.
Gravity. And,
yeah. That's the reason I thought of it. Very similar in structure. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. I'm going to go back to Scarlett Johansson. But keep that kind of mindset of Sandra Bullock in the back of your mind. Because I'm thinking Gravity here. Okay. Where you do kind of have this inner monologue, sort of talking to oneself, Scarlett Johansson. But out in space, bounty hunter, exploring some sort of, space thing where there is the last Metroid, where there is the breakout. You have Ridley attacking, and there's like kind of the alien isolation thing going on there with Ridley attacking. And the whole thing is a reflection on her parents passing away, the Metroid catastrophe, the civilization that once was, and then it ends with her going home.
Yeah.
Similar to Gravity. So, Kasdan's movie pitch. Scarlett Johansson, dialogue style of the movie Gravity. Suspense and action of Alien Isolation. Interstellar. Plus The Martian. Plus Star Wars. Plus Tomb Raider.
My thoughts, maybe this is one that should just stay as a game.
It's a good call, too.
Like, it seems, didn't the creator himself, wasn't it, this is one of
the
the
creator
things,
himself is having some sort of midlife crisis or something with
because a lot of people argue, if you put it in the hands of people, musical trains or something.
What is this? There's noises here. I don't know if the mic's picking it up, but there is like some sort of trumpets being sounded outside, which the Sunday school lessons in me kind of freaks me out because I'm pretty sure that's the sign of the coming of the Lord. But I'm pretty sure
the other day I was more terrified. There's a
fireworks show down the street.
Oh my gosh. And not only me, but I went rushing outside, and people, like other neighbors,
I was at the fireworks show. Yeah. I knew it was happening.
I'm surprised that your ears aren't like permanently shot.
They were pretty loud.
Yeah.
Probably should stay a movie. We'll see what happens with Federation Force and with the franchise moving forward, because that could be a prime example we've talked about with Ratchet and Clank and with Assassin's Creed and all that. It's kind of in Warcraft.
Yeah.
Stop, man. We do have quite a bit. We're right there. We have these left.
No!
No, we're fine. Shh. Focus. Some of them we're gonna go faster than others. We have like how the movie releases along with the game. Federation Force out this year. Metroid a couple years from now alongside a movie makes a whole lot of sense, and it could give some well-needed context to who Samus is, and along with the movie. I say that's great. That's my Metroid movie pitch. Moving on. This one will be much quicker, so don't you worry.
Okay.
Wario. Wahahaha. How could the Wario, specifically WarioWare, work as a movie?
I don't know about WarioWare. I think
that was my primary idea with the Wario movie.
Yeah.
You have WarioWare. You have him trying to do a quick rich scheme. You have these kind of like
definitely greed. We need greed in this Mario movie. Wario.
Yeah.
Wario, not Wario.
And you have that cast. You have the disco guy. You have the gaming kid. You have Ashley. The gothic girl.
That's true.
You have a good cast. I mean, you have very good cast. And it's one of those things where the Wario writing, the Wario charm, the Wario quirkiness, and that kind of rhythm heaven, WarioWare, quick mini games sort of lore that's been established. There could be montages throughout this movie where it's just like he's finding different ways to get rich.
For some reason, I think that'd be very disappointing to a lot of people. Wario fans seem to...
I mean, I'm not rooting for this one. I'm just saying these are the franchises we got before us.
Yes. Well, I'm just... What?
I'm just saying, I'm just throwing everything out there. So if you're saying, that the WarioWare movie probably wouldn't work out so well, I'm in complete agreement here.
Yeah, well, I'm only saying is that the Wario Land series were very highly received, especially like the last one, Wario Land 4, I think on the GBA may have been the last one that they released, and they're really good platforming games, and it seems like it has a lot of people were disappointed that Super Smash focused so much
Oh,
on the
yeah.
WarioWare. They were like, there's really a lot to Wario in the Wario Land games and his platform history that...
I'm in the opposite direction. I embrace the WarioWare
Yeah.
over Wario Land and the traditional what we see of Wario. I think the WarioWare look is better. I
kind of like how the Wario Land, and I think Wario was the main boss, the final boss of Super Mario Land 2, the Golden
Maybe,
Coins or something. And I liked kind of that merging slightly of the universes, and possibly Mario could make a cameo, and there could be some tie, or it could be a Mario and Wario sort of thing.
Mario and Wario
Settle it and smash.
Yeah, I
Hillary
gotcha.
Trump.
I got an email today that we
Sony
have to.
and Nintendo, settle it and smash.
I got an email today from YouTube that said, "Hey, if you want to monetize this video, you have to prove that you wrote this song and that you have the licenses, the images presented in it." And I'm like, no. We're going to sacrifice the $3 we made off that video, and
Oh dang, we made $3 off it.
I don't know if we made that much. I'm saying we probably made less, so I'm saying we didn't make much.
So much money.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The WarioWare, I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see a WarioWare movie.
Yeah, me too.
I could see just once again along the lines of like
yeah,
like
you
Angry
said,
Birds
the cast
and stuff.
is good.
Yeah. It could really. I mean, it would be a really good chance for it to be its own thing. There's
It
like,
could be so trippy too. It'd be just like, what the heck is this movie?
Yeah,
It'd be like just a.
But that's the
journey
thing,
into
though, is it would be a
madness.
perfect, animated kids movie. You know, it's just the wacky Wario doing money schemes and this disco guy and
Yeah.
Go Mike. I think that's a little song. Do 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 go Mike. I just remember like that played and it just gets faster. Do 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 go Mike, and then you have to do the quick mini game. Oh crap. Do 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 go Mike.
I need to get the one that was on. It was like WarioWare micro games or something like that.
Touched, I think, is what's on the my Nintendo right now. So you have the platinum coins
yeah.
to get it. Go play me Tomo. Get your platinum coins. You can get WarioWare Touched.
Oh, it's Game & Wario, I think, is what it was on the Wii U.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. With the gamepad and stuff.
Yep.
It actually looked pretty fun. I know it got low Metacritic reviews, but I think it looks like it was a moderate game. You know,
Yeah.
something to own.
Definitely.
Fun party game.
Definitely.
That's how a Wario movie could work. But what about how would a Fire Emblem movie work?
I would hope it'd stick with the anime that they really
The Ghibli studio sort of thing they have going now.
It looks so gorgeous, and yeah, I want them to stick with that.
I would love.
I don't want to see any cheesy live action Fire Emblem stuff.
Oh, please no! Please shoot me in the face.
It has
before you
too
do
much
something
like
that.
magical.
Take
like,
a water gun
whimsical.
and point at my pupil and pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Before you do something like that, yeah, they would. It would need to. I would think it could do. Because here's the thing, yeah, I like undebatably. It needs to be animated. It needs to be the cutscenes. I've been playing lots of Fates recently, and sometimes I rush through the levels and just go because I just want to get to the next cutscene.
Yeah.
It's just I'm so excited when there's a new cutscene, and they're so gorgeous. And here's the thing with Fire Emblem. I mean, you have Marth, you have Lucina, you have Ike, you have Corrin, you have Robin. Especially with the Amiibo we've seen, and with the Smash Bros. Series we've seen, these characters are beloved. Like, they are beloved. Beloved. I don't know why I did that. Like, why I, dissected that word like that.
Beloved.
Beloved. These characters are very cherished. And, the tricky thing is they kind of exist in different timelines. Like, Awakening attempted to bring them all kind of together. What in the world just happened upstairs? Your dog.
Simba, I was just thinking, I need to bring him down here really soon. Like, we're gonna need to either bring him on during the
your
podcast.
dog is literally throwing things around upstairs. Yeah, we'll wrap up the discussion soon. Honestly, the franchises get smaller and smaller from here on out. Yeah,
I'll bring him down on the podcast once we wrap up this little bit of discussion.
I'm worried about that because he's gonna be terrible.
We'll see.
But with Fire Emblem, I mean, I don't think you could take one of the pre-existing lores and stories. Sorry, there's an itch in my nose, and I'm trying to get it. We need to focus here, man. You're getting distracted.
At least we said it for 3 hours.
Yeah. Do you think you could do Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem Fates, or do you think it'd have to be its own independent story? Because my only thing is that a Fire Emblem movie without a pre-established character, you would have to do Lucina, you'd have to do Chrom, you'd have to do Marth, you'd have to do Ike, you know?
Yeah.
You'd have to do, like, Radiant Dawn, you'd have to have, like, that story. You could maybe do, like, your own independent thing and have them make cameos and have its own lead, but it's just hard to have that and have that compete with, you know, Game of Thrones. Like, Game of Thrones isn't a movie, but it is competing as far as, am I going to spend my afternoon, you know, watching the latest season of Game of Thrones, or this fantasy, or Lord of the Rings, you know, the Robin Hood reboot, you know, like, what am I going to see? Or am I going to see this new, what's Fire Emblem? Like, you need some sort of iconic character. I guess if you're going in the movie market, you just need, the story comes first, the characters can come later or something, but then you also have Neil Druckmann, writer for Uncharted, Last of Us, and his whole philosophy is complex characters, simple story. And so that's the thing there, because the heart of Fire Emblem is its characters.
Yeah.
It's the support talks, it's the marriage, it's the someone died on the battlefield and you're doing a soft reset because you want to make sure that character stays alive. Gameplay actually is kind of, the tactics side of thing is actually kind of pushed aside, or is simply there to embellish the relationships, the partnerships that you have in the story. And so I'm just thinking it could work very well as a movie, but you just have to pick carefully, because this movie is going to be representing the franchise. And what franchise, what aspect, what era, what character, what plot line do you represent? It's even trickier than like the Zelda question, because while Zelda's more like, here's the new thing and stuff, I mean, Corrin is a vastly different lead than Robin in Fates compared to Awakening, you know? I mean, like, you can even see that in Smash, like the way they play and stuff. These characters are different. They all have swords, but they are different. They have different powers, different capabilities, different backstories. And so I think Awakening would probably be the best course of action to go with. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
I kind of think it's another one of those franchises that will maybe likely not get a movie. Kind of like maybe Metroid and stuff, because I would think if they do go any sort of movie route, whatever studio makes the anime, they might do a Japan only, sort of like how the Pokemon movies have become in a lot of ways, where they do still get Americanized, I guess, and maybe they, since it's a major IP now, maybe they wouldn't shovel it out as quite as big, or, you know, maybe it'd be a side thing. I kind of see as them not supporting it as like a major, who knows, it's a major IP now, they say, so perhaps they have enough faith in it that they'd push it in a major American market as like coming to theaters. But for some reason, I just don't see that.
I could see a Netflix poster, you know.
Definitely.
The tricky thing is that you have this high fantasy kind of. It would probably have to go into the more teen, mature, PG-13 sort of realm.
The thing is
animated and it's Nintendo,
and you don't see anime in theaters like for a while. We haven't seen an anime movie.
But you also have Kimishima leading it, and he did anime Pokemon movies
that were in theaters a long time ago.
And also, they were they were PG, you know, or if not G, they may have been G rated.
And it was during the time of Pokemon insanity.
Yeah,
it was like they were the Beatles basically and stuff.
Yeah. So that's trickier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you need to go get Simba? I think he's fine.
I was thinking that we will take a break and resume with the next
piece of discussion.
Bit of the next half, kind of, or the last bit. We'll do a little part 2, or you can merge them all together and we're back, you know, kind of thing. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we can pause it.
Yeah, once he settles down, and
yeah,
because I'm figuring we'll bring him down. He'll say hello.
I'll go up and we'll say hello so he doesn't mess up these chords.
Well, I already got an area set up for him. Like, he's got a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So I was thinking it should be fine.
So for the listeners at home, nothing's going to change.
Right.
We'll just be like, and we'll be back.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. So we'll end up that snippet, though. That's our thought on Fire Emblem. Yeah. Leave your thoughts down below, loyal listeners and watchers. What character, focus, lead, storyline of Fire Emblem would you like to see, or would you like to see your own an independent story And do you think it would be a movie, or do you think maybe it's more of a TV show, short sort of thing? All down in the comment section below. Pause.
Cut.
And we're back. For people that are listening, there is literally like nothing that happened. It was just probably like pause and we're back. But we're back. We took a little break. You brought your dog down.
You probably hear him chewing.
He's chewing. He's our little Portillo.
Yeah, you might see him on the stream later if anybody tunes in.
Yeah, so he's actually not little at all. He's a ginormous monster of a dog that just annihilated me in the garden of good and evil. So I'm a little bit off my game for the second half of this recording. You know why. But next snippet is Star Fox Zero. Star Fox Assault, Star Fox Command, Star Fox, Star Fox, Star Fox. Show me the Star Fox. How would Star Fox work as a movie? How would Fox McCloud present himself on the big screen? How would all that work? I think, and you believe, we both are in a congruent, mutual conclusion that The Battle Begins, the animated short, is a prime example of how a Star Fox movie could work.
Yeah.
I think they could afford to go beyond the anime style. I think they could do a 3D animation.
I thought some of the mouth animations were a little awkward, some of that and stuff. Yeah.
And so I think they could do a 3D animation. I think they could have like that whole sort of, as we talked previously, like with Donkey Kong, like, you know, you have the fur. I definitely don't think they should do a puppet animation that they seem really fond of with Star Fox.
That would be interesting, though.
Like a Muppet sort of movie with Star Fox.
Modern Muppets.
I think that would be a terrible...
They still do make Muppets movies,
I think that would be a terrible, terrible decision.
Yeah. Because
Star Fox is all about those epic space battles.
For a whole entire movie, yes, certainly I think that would
the Muppets would be a terrible choice.
Yeah.
And I would not put it past Nintendo to make something like that. Dang, your dog's just chewing.
He's going to town on that.
Yeah, he's going to town on that chew toy. But I don't think the mic will pick it up as loudly as we hear it.
Yeah.
But I am somewhat worried and concerned about that. We're gonna go on with it because we're Koppai and we do care actually. We do strive for the utmost quality, but that's just the nature of it. Simba, you're a cutie. But yeah, I think you have. The only thing I worry about with a Star Fox movie is that you'd have the similar sort of thing with The Battle Begins, with Star Fox 64, Star Fox 64 3D, and Star Fox Zero. Is that what's the story you tell? Because we cannot have
another reboot.
We cannot have your father was killed by Andross, and you need to go save the world by stopping Andross. Here's Wolf. Here's these monkeys, here's Piggy, here's Pepe O'Hare. Like, you need to have a completely independent story where it's like, this is, and you can have Andross. Like, I'm not saying don't have Andross. I'm saying you need to have something beyond what we've seen.
Yeah.
No more of the, like, it can't be that same dialogue. It can't be the whole, I mean, you would have do a barrel roll.
Yeah.
You would have, there's a bogey on my tail. You would have, and maybe in the trailer or at the start of the movie or in some sort of cheesy Easter egg, you'd have good luck. But I just don't think you could have that whole movie again.
Yeah.
But I can just imagine a movie where they have Star Fox and Pepe gets lost on a desert planet and Slippy has a bogey on his tail and then Wolf comes along.
They really have a lot of potential and possibility they could do with the Star Fox series. That my only concern with that possibility is the fact that Star Fox Zero did so poorly, and how a lot of people are speculating that the entire franchise is over, which we have talked. So. Yeah, which we talked about. We don't think that necessarily. It's a Miyamoto franchise. It's not dead, I wouldn't say. But is it going to get a major motion picture? Are they going to put that faith into also making an adaptation instead of maybe...
I don't think it's definitely going to be the first one off the bat.
And do they need to put their focus into, like, for the next Star Fox, would fans rather see them put all of their dedication and focus into making the game great and not into putting focus into making some animated long story that could take away potentially from making the game where it should be and how the franchise needs to go if it's going to continue moving forward.
On the contrary, because if you want Star Fox 64, you have that.
Yeah.
You can play that. If you are more of a Command or an Assault or a Zero guy, you have those games. Maybe Nintendo will be like, you know what? There's no way we can do something that people will think is better than what they already have. There are those controls. There's the arcade. There's the high scores to beat. You have the Star Fox. If you want to go play those Star Fox games, you have them. Maybe a movie would be a way for them to expand the franchise, make money off the franchise and the brand that it is.
Restore some of that image.
Yeah, restore some of that image and not have the expectations of controls, of gameplay, etc., to hold up to. Because you have Fox, Falco, Slippy, Peppy. Like, they're all... Like, Fox is the perfect moderate balance between them all. You have... Falco, who's kind of like his counter. You have Slippy, who's a buffoon, and then you have the old wise Peppy O'Hare. You have a very well-rounded cast, and you can make them like a really fun, dynamic group of kind of 4 people, doing epic space adventures. The only thing with that is you're competing with Star Wars.
Yeah.
And Star Wars won't be stopping until... it would be competing with this if it was like the first game or the first movie to launch.
Yeah, maybe. Star Wars, I think, is a totally different beast to kind of compete with. I think that...
I don't know. You have Rebels, you have Clone Wars, you have these animated things, and it's space adventures.
That's true. It's a good point.
It's just, are you going to take your kid to see Star Wars or Star Fox?
I just think that Star Fox is so... in a lot of ways silly, a lot of ways lighthearted, a lot of ways like they do the Muppet thing. It's in a lot of ways, I think, a parody of all of the 80s and the Star Wars hype of the 80s and all the sci-fi, the tropes, the Star Treks, and all those things. That's what Star Fox is, and it's kind of making fun of it and putting it in like these animals that are like human-like animals. And I think it's just silly and fun, and they can do a lot of things with that. We see it even in the Battle Begins anime. There's so many silly, quirky little moments, and so I think that it would always be like, this is kind of the silly parody of Star Wars. It's not really necessarily directly competing, and it's also a Nintendo thing, and so it also have that energy of it's Nintendo. It's kind of a parody. If they could do
because what we talked about, when we did our Mario discussion, is we kind of said, Mario and the Wii, I would think that the best way for Nintendo to handle any of these movies is to kind of have that fourth wall break.
Yeah.
Kind of call out their own tropes and stuff and their own sort of fan service thing.
Uh-huh.
And Star Fox, more than anyone, could do that, where they do, the whole do a barrel roll and stuff. But they could also build up the whole trope of space adventures, of Star Trek, of Star Wars, of Battlestar Galactica, of kind of even maybe Doctor Who, kind of that sci-fi sort of thing, planet exploration. Like, they could really build up some funny jokes around all of that. I would like to see maybe with Star Fox them head in the movie direction and maybe abandon games or put video games on the back burner while movies are the forefront of the Star Fox, because that's really what depressed me about the whole negative reception of Star Fox Zero, was the fact that there was kind of we won't see this again, we're not going to really know what happens next with these characters, and that was the big bummer part. I loved the gameplay, but I could, if I want to play more Star Fox, I can play Star Fox Zero and try to get the higher scores. I'll be content with that for a while. I'd like to maybe see this more of the story, and I'd be content with a movie and just find out what happens next.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
Before we move on to the next game, let's pause this real quick one more time and check to see how this sounds.
Okay.
With your dog destroying that bone in the background.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll be right back.
And we're back once again. Sorry, we just... everything's getting cut up because this is our longest thing ever. We're continuing on with the reaction to Nintendo's movie news. We just talked about how Star Fox could be a pretty decent attempt at a movie, maybe even better than sticking with traditional games. Our apologies if you heard crackles and crinks in the background. Zach has a beautiful dog, and he needs attention.
He does. He craves it. He needs it. He loves
craves it. He thrives on it. He needs some tender, loving care, some TLC every now and then. And we've been recording a little bit longer than we expected, and we're not going to stop because the Koppai Nation deserves our thoughts. And so, but we had to pause and bring him down for
and
one
we have how
snippet.
much more of this? Okay. We got a lot. We got a lot to do.
No, we don't. We're fine. And so we just talked about Star Fox and all that, but now I want to ask you, Zach.
Yes.
Picture a movie.
Okay.
You're a little boy. You're on a train and you talk to a cat. And you show up, and at the start of Act 1, you arrive in this town. And everyone in the town is an animal. And you move into a home, start off in a tent, and a little raccoon comes along, and he says, "Yo, I'll build you a house."
Yeah.
And you say, "Thank you. That's a mighty kind of you."
Mm-hmm.
And he builds you a house, and he says, "Oh, by the way, you owe me $100,000. 100,000 bells, the currency of my native land. Pay it off, or else." And you say, "Yo, I don't have any money. I just moved here, and I don't have a job." And he says, "How convenient. I am the only business in town. You work for me now. Look at me, look at me. I am your boss now. And you will do jobs for me until you pay off this house."
All right, this all is sounding very familiar. It's sounding oddly like Fire Animal Crossing.
How would an Animal Crossing movie work? I think the movie trailer, "In a world where you're in debt to a crazy business raccoon tycoon. Spring 2018. Animal Crossing." It's like a horror movie.
It would be a horror movie because the villager is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, I mean,
As we all know.
here's
That would be what they need to do.
Here's the thing with an Animal Crossing movie. I do think, honestly, the plot line is paying off your house. As boring as that sounds,
I hope not.
I think there is...
I want blood. I want gore.
Shut up. I think the plot line is you move to a new town, you move into a house, and I think the joke is that Tom Nook pays for your house and you owe him, and that's how the plot line moves forward.
Yeah.
Is you owe Tom Nook, so you sell stuff at retail. You go talk to Cap, and you go out, you go fishing, and while doing all this, you talk to Cyrus and Reese at retail. You talk to Gloria, the fashion diva.
What they need to do. Okay, this is what
you talk to Cap'n,
the
turtle.
This is my idea.
He sings you a song.
Here's my idea. This is my idea. Here's my idea. This is my idea.
What's your
Here's
idea?
my idea.
Speak it to me.
Okay.
Spit it out, Mr. Koppai.
Here's the complication of the movie. Here's the issue. All that happens as you say.
Okay.
Then one day, this main character, hero villager, goes to bed, goes into his house, and then it just shows, like, days go by, the seasons change, and then he comes back, and the weeds have grown. Everybody's like, "Where have you been?" And he has to, like, read, like, do his whole time, like, everything's gone to chaos. He still has a debt to pay off, like, all this. And it's like, man, what happened? I literally went to bed, and I woke up, and, like, months and months and months have passed. That's
a good plot line.
Yeah.
That'd be the sequel. Because the first movie would have to be paying off the debt and becoming the mayor. Although I would like it if in the movie you weren't the mayor. I like Tortimer as the mayor. And maybe in the sequel you become mayor, but then you abandon your post. Isabel freaks out. But the thing is if you do an Animal Crossing movie, you have Kurt, and you have Wolfgang, and you have Prince, and you have Deli. You have, like, these kind of, that whole Seinfeld sort of thing where you have, the wacky guy, the tough guy. I mean, you have the what is it, the four, like orange, green, blue, red, like those kind of personality types. You have all of those in different animals, and they all look very, like we've talked about, very ready for a Pixar animation sort of thing. You have Blathers, you have the museum, you have, and that's a way to make more money. Like there's this whole sort of progression through the narrative that they could do that involves you going and checking out each place. Each place has an iconic character that kids and people would fall in love with, and they'd watch, and they'd be like, I loved that movie because I loved that scene when he went to the museum and he met Blathers and he was asleep and it was funny and there was dinosaurs and fish, and then I loved that scene where he was on the boat with Cap'n and they went to a paradise island and shook down fruit from trees, like there's going on the beach and picking up seashells, and there was the seal guy. Like I think there's all these sort of locales and stuff in a typical village of Animal Crossing that could lend itself well to a movie narrative plotline, all around the concept of paying off Tom Nook, because that's just perfect. And there's the one scene where at the end of the day you've worked so hard and you go down to Club LOL and the KK slider's there.
Yeah.
And that is the one scene where you walk in, you're tired, you're beat down, you're worn out, you can just hear.
That's the end of the movie.
And you just, KK's up there with his little acoustic guitar. What's kicking, kid?
He plays a little song and then the credits roll.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
That's perfect.
Bum, ba-da-dum,
Bum, 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 bum.
bum, bum, bum,
Oh, that'd be a beautiful ending to the movie.
bum.
That's our movie pitch for Animal Crossing in theaters 2018. Bring us the bells. Wipe away the debt. A villager always pays his debts. And the movie poster is just Tom Nook with the 2 bags of bells.
Yeah. Or just zoom in on the villager's eye with that little twinkle.
Yeah. Now, Zach.
Yes.
This one, I have absolutely no idea how it would work. So you're going to have to take the lead on this one.
Okay.
Pitch to me
Throw it at me.
the ideal
Uh-huh.
F-Zero movie.
Ba-da, ba-da.
Show me your moves. That's all I know.
All right.
That would be the movie tagline. We have that covered.
Yeah.
You have the movie poster. You have Captain Falcon doing his little like salute off his head.
Yeah, it's
and
interesting.
The movie it's just F-Zero the movie. Show me your moves.
Yeah, it's interesting because really, like it's been said that Captain Falcon, his whole entire personality, his whole persona, everything we know about him really has been developed by Super Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Not really the F-Zero games themselves, because really those are just a racing game that don't really have much of a story.
Few GameCube sort of things and stuff and all that. We saw him a little bit.
Honestly, not expecting an F-Zero movie.
Yeah.
I really could not see it happening. So what a story of it would be, I really honestly don't have any idea. He has some, it seems... Does he have superpowers, or is just is his fist like the way that he
Falcon Punch?
Yeah, is that a superpower, or is it just so fierce that is he punching the air so fast and so hard that it caused like a ripple effect and flames to you know
the friction cut through the air that it's
Right.
just fire. I mean, yeah, I don't know. First of all, I don't know much too about F-Zero. The rich lore of the franchise.
No, it's rich.
Yeah. And I don't know
Days
much about
and
that.
days of F-Zero lore. Go on the Wikipedia
Yeah,
page.
some exposition stuff. I mean, I don't know how they'd cover that in the movie.
Yeah.
All of the stuff, the backstory that you would need to do about Captain Falcon, the Big Blue, Mute City.
What they could do, maybe, this is my take on an F-Zero movie. All right, everybody listen up. Hey, kids. Hey, listen. What's up? The F-Zero movie is they just came out with this movie. I think it's called like Hardcore Henry or something. It's all first person. Let's say it's all first person. And basically it's like a racing movie experience, like an IMAX sort of thing, where you're just going through these absolutely insane tracks at like high speeds, and it's like F-Zero the movie, the experience. Not F-Zero the movie, F-Zero the experience, where it's 4D, you're getting sprayed in the face with water when you feel it charging, your seat shakes a bit, and it's just like and you're going upside down and all around and zipping by fast. And yeah, that's my F-Zero movie.
I see that, and I raise you a counteroffer.
Okay.
Picture, if you will, Mad Max Fury Road set in a sort of Neo City vibe.
That'd be really cool. Yeah, where
Where
we're
it's-
just kind of like
It's just racing. The whole movie
Yeah.
is on the road, similar to Mad Max. I mean, for the most part, that movie's on the road.
really long race.
Really long race, and it's just
It's brutal.
and it's just a visual spectacle.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. A visual spectacle. In the style like Mad Max is a really good example of.
Mad Max F-Zero.
Yeah.
With who is it? He's like Hardy, Tom Hardy. Is that the guy who was the lead actor for Mad Max? Pretty sure it was Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy! Edward Thomas Hardy, born September 15th, 1997, known professionally as Tom Hardy, is an English actor, screenwriter, and producer. Most famously seducer, just like Nick Scarpino over on Kinda Funny Games. Tom Hardy as Captain Falcon. Brilliant! Really? Oh, I did it again!
Koppai. Now you did it to yourself there.
Yeah, that was my bad. So that's our F-Zero movie pitch. Moving on. Have you heard of a little boy named Masahiro Sakurai?
I've heard that little boy, that little feline cat man.
He never ages.
Yeah,
he's like
true.
70 years old and he looks like he's as pluck as a 12-year-old. Just fresh out of the womb.
Mm-hmm.
Little 12-year-old boy.
He's an adorable man.
He is. I mean, if I were to walk to like an elementary school, just like
he makes me smile when his cuteness, just seeing him.
Yeah.
It's just like
I used to work at a daycare and I like primarily taught elementary school age kids.
Yeah.
If I were to walk into work one day and all the kids were lined up sitting against the wall ready for story time and Masahiro Sakurai was sitting there, I would not blink twice or give like another look. I'd just be like, "What's up, kids? We're going to read a story today." And he'd be sitting crisscross applesauce ready to listen, and I'd have no idea he was an adult man. Famous game developer. I would just assume he was one of the kids.
Yeah.
He recently rebooted Kid Icarus with Kid Icarus Uprising.
Right.
He wrote a lot of the Super Smash Bros. Lore, Subspace Emissary. He is the voice of Pit, of Palutena, of Dark Pit. He is a very talented writer. Could you see a Kid Icarus movie? Written, directed, produced by Masahiro Sakurai.
That'd be really cool. I really need to finish
Uprising?
I really do. I did start it.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through. There's like a certain scene stuff. People know what I'm talking about. I've stopped there. Haven't gone beyond that.
Yeah. But without giving anything away, like it's could you see it as a movie?
I definitely could. I mean, you see the whole it's good versus evil. There's the conflict between, heaven and hell. There's a brilliant back and forth between Pit and Palutena. Palutena is a goddess, Pit's a little angel, and you just have that back and forth where Palutena's trying to guide him, but Pit's a rambunctious, super powerful, like he can do whatever he wants. You have Dark Pit, who's a very good counter to Pit. You have, the demons in the depths of hell and the evil forces that come from that. And you have Sakurai, who's a very talented writer, very punny, has that Nintendo charm in his writing. He knows the Nintendo lore, so he can make it very much so fit into like a Nintendo sort of context. I think it would work very well. And I would imagine it being animated similar to the style of Kid Icarus Uprising, like not the cutscenes, but like that kind of like the cartoon and stuff. But it could be 3D, could be live action. You'd have to find some impeccable actors. And when you're doing something that's cross cultural as a Nintendo movie would be, where it's trying to appeal to the West and be Hollywood, but it also needs to cater to the Japanese audience that nurtured it. I think live action is always trickier.
Yeah,
because it's not as easily dubbed. It's not as easily,
Right.
portrayed. If you have it in the West, it's whitewashing. If you have it also, it's Japanese like actors and stuff. And unfortunately, it honestly doesn't have as much appeal to the West. We like our white actors and stuff. And I'm not saying that as like a statement of Koppai. I'm just saying, you look at movies and stuff, until bold moves start being made, fortunately being made by Disney with, Rey and Finn and stuff and all of that. It's just the current culture and stuff and what sells. Max Landis, very prominent writer in the screenwriting community, he simply says, the comfortable actor, the comfortable image sells. And so I would think cartoon then is the better way to go with that, to be safe, to be more approachable. But I would think you couldn't have a Kid Icarus movie without Sakurai writing it, because he is the voice of Kid Icarus now. And if he's done with Smash, which it seems like he is, although there's a new update this week, a new movie could be perfect for him. And he's one of the very few Nintendo developers that has experience writing a full-out story. So,
yeah,
I could see
indeed.
That. Any thoughts you want to say on that?
Well, I definitely think that they've used Kid Icarus to do some narrative effects in Smash and stuff, and it seems like it. I haven't played, like I said, much of the Uprising, but I think that I agree with. I can see what you're saying about it. It seems like narrative driven. I think a cartoon is definitely the right route to go with it. I think it would be work better as like a series, a TV series.
Yeah, I agree with that. But a one-off movie or a movie to initiate that,
yeah,
similar to have like Pokemon 2000, and then you have the Pokemon series.
Yeah,
I could see.
Or the Clone Wars movie.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And then the kickoff, maybe like a Netflix series or something with Kid Icarus. Could definitely see that.
Yeah.
You want to know what sucks?
What
Kirby.
Sucks? Kirby sucks? Yes, he does. You're right.
Oh!
It certainly does suck.
Kirby is the suckiest Nintendo franchise in the world.
Yes.
And I don't mean that negatively.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is, like a Hoover vacuum,
yes,
Kirby sucks. He inhales.
That's right.
He takes everything in. He is a silly little pink ball. He is...
He looks radioactive.
He's turning into Kirby, or to clay balls. He's turned into yarn. He's turned into a giant robot. He is transformed into wheels, Link, fireballs.
If he was once a normal human being, I feel very bad. I feel sorry for him.
Yeah,
and something happened, something traumatic, and now he looks like that.
I think he's his own race.
Yeah.
If you look at Meta Knight and stuff, and he's a very similar thing.
Yeah.
I think
or they were both in the same accident.
Yeah, well, you have Wild D's and stuff, and they look like Kirby's too.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it is a certain thing. Yeah. Why he is pink? Maybe some sort of skin condition.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's isolated from the rest of the group.
Well, and he used to be gray, white or gray, and then he turned
that's
something
true.
happened.
Yeah, he was yellow.
He got sunburnt. Yeah.
He was yellow, and then he turned pink.
Yes,
he may have been sunburnt. May have had some sort of pigment.
There's the plot of the movie right there.
Yeah. Kirby movie plot, the origin story of Kirby, how he got this skin deformation, and now the revenge he's taken on everyone for making fun of him. Because you can just imagine the Wild D's being like, Kirby's pink.
And when he found out one day that he could ride on stars.
Yeah, he just touched maybe that's why. Maybe this touching the stars burnt his skin. But then
it kind of freaked out for a second, and then went zipping off.
That was the price he had to pay. And he lets all this stress out by stress eating.
Indeed.
Nice. There's the plot of the Kirby movie. But no, in all actuality, I think a Kirby movie is very much so based on, the King Dedede conflict, the Meta Knight conflict.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to what we see this new Amiibo line and stuff. That's the cast right there. Kirby, Meta Knight, Waddle Dee. You have these other animals. You have the cute Dreamland sort of sequence and stuff. My only problem with Kirby, and we kind of talked about it, like with Wally, with Pikmin, is just once again there's a lack of dialogue. Now, we did have cartoons. What was it, like Right Back at You, Kirby, or something? Or Kirby Right Back at You?
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
And King Dedede had dialogue. I'm pretty sure Meta Knight had dialogue. I don't think Kirby did. But we've had cartoons of Kirby in the past,
Right.
like on Disney X or something. Like we've had that in, like morning show cartoons.
Yeah.
With
cartoons.
Kirby.
Comics and stuff, I think.
We've had comics and stuff. We've had cutscenes and stuff in the Kirby games and stuff,
Yeah.
but once again, filled without, or lack thereof, dialogue.
Right.
We just talked about Kid Icarus and how Sakurai would have to lead the helm on that.
Yeah.
I would think he would also want to lead the helm on Kirby since he is the father of Kirby, and yet he's not too involved anymore. The only other person that have a similar influence, I would think, would be Satoru Iwata, who unfortunately has passed away. Kirby seems to be stuck in the game realm.
Yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, what I was thinking, we were talking earlier about the Mario series and how that's stuck in a game too. You made that point, and how you make the point also about how Kirby has already been made into some cartoons, some comics, and stuff like that. I wish it'd be interesting, kind of on a side note, maybe not totally movie related, but what if we got like a Kirby RPG or something, like a Kirby Superstar Saga kind of game? You know, what kind of like RPG battle mechanics would be interesting? All the different enemies you face, and him being able to maybe inhale a bit of it and like take up some of the abilities and counter those, or remember some of the old abilities. Have a stock up of things you could transform into on the spot. It seems like the Kirby series has a lot of potential to be opened up into sort of a funny, silly, breaking the fourth wall kind of thing of itself. Mm-hmm. And I think that it could move to the movie realm, and I really wish actually that they just do like a game sort of thing like that. It would be really cool to see them branch off from not necessarily always these super, because a lot of people complain about Kirby always being so easy.
People are getting a little fatigued, I think, on Kirby. Not because there's so many Kirby games, because there are innovation there, but at the end of the day, it is the same Kirby game. And the gimmicks, not in a bad way, are often enough to make it so it's refreshing. Like Kirby or Planet Robobot is different from Triple Deluxe. You know, like there's like that tiny twist there to make it worth playing a completely separate journey.
Right.
But you can, like, it seems like you can wait on the experience, but yeah, like if you were to have a completely new definitive Kirby experience, that would make it maybe more refreshing. Bring back the Kirby Air Ride, bring back something like that where you could really expand on different sort of abilities that Kirby has and the potential he has being able to copy everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think a movie would change anything. The only thing I think about Kirby as a movie is just the fact that he's just so iconic. And he's so pleasing to the eye. Dreamland, King Dedede, Kirby himself, just the pink ball. The pink. The plushes, the
Amiibo line that looks really nice.
I mean, it's just, he's so marketable.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I would see him well fit into a movie.
Uh-huh.
Beyond that, I really don't have any idea what the story would be. Beyond just, there's trouble in Dreamland.
Yeah.
Everyone's been turned into vegetables.
Yeah.
And not like vegetables. Yeah. Moving on.
Yep.
Zach.
Uh-huh.
Tell me. I have no idea. So you're going to need to tell me, or we'll just move on. Earthbound movie. No way it's happening.
Yeah, no way it's happening. The Earthbound series has been kind of dormant and dead for a while now. It's super popular, so they do try to.
We may get an announcement.
It.
We could literally get an announcement any day. There's
they're
Earthbound
gonna. I think they're
3 coming.
gonna. I think that for the Mother Earthbound series and the whole thing, they're gonna hold out on the whole nostalgia factor on that for a long time, and they're going to use the fact that a lot of those games haven't come out in the West yet as just a way to like re-release like a game that's already been out. I don't think they're gonna make really anything new with that, except for the addition of new models and like a Super Smash sort of thing that we see. It's a really funny, quirky series. The plot for
it's very unfortunate that it didn't evolve beyond the original.
Envisioning it in my head right now, seeing like the NES model from like Super Smash Bros. 4, or like maybe like looking up into the sky, and it's like just seeing the whole like computer generated thing in my head. I could totally see it. I could envision it. It could totally
you have
happen,
like the Porky guy, you know, like you have him as the villain. You have, I mean,
it has a very like, since it's an RPG, it inherently has a story already really written.
Yeah,
for
lots
it.
of good character development enemy design stuff, lots of potential conflicts, lots of potential fan service elements, and honestly, could be a good opportunity to kind of have like those little expectations and make a series or make a movie and stuff. It's just going off the previous Kimishima quote that's going to be a movie franchise that's relevant to everyone and popular to everyone. That's not Earthbound.
Yeah.
That's not the Mother series.
Yep, that's a good point.
That being said, I could see it coming down the line, and I could see it as a potential point to reinvigorate that series, because I think there's some sort of love still there for it. There's a demand for it, and there's some sort of recognition by Nintendo that they're not maybe completely done with it, because they do bring like Earthbound Beginnings, and they're bringing Earthbound Mother 3, like they're bringing that soon. They have to.
Yeah.
I think there's like an undeniable amount of evidence for that. Like that, there's been talkings, rumblings, and it's going to be coming soon. And it's like the anniversary of it. I just don't think it'll be the one that leads off the charge. But that's not to say that an Earthbound movie couldn't happen. Leave your thoughts down below if you're more familiar with the franchise, how you'd like to see that approached. And if you'd rather see maybe an Earthbound game first before you see a movie, I'd assume you want a game first, but maybe you just want to see this franchise evolve into a movie format.
Yeah.
2 more.
3 more.
You want to do... Okay. 3 more.
We don't have... No, we can do 2 more. I mean, okay, we'll do Punch-Out really quickly here. Maybe make it a snippet, maybe not, but...
I'm just saying, how would a Punch-Out movie work? Rocky.
Rocky. 20-second snippet.
How would a... title of the video. How would a Punch-Out movie work? Rocky.
You don't even have to watch it, because it's just all in the snippet title itself.
The snippet title in the description box. Rocky.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I mean...
Yeah, really.
I think you could have a pretty good movie there.
Mm-hmm.
A live-action movie, even.
Yeah.
But the only thing is you're competing with Rocky. Regardless of when the movie releases. It's always competing with Rocky.
Right.
Or the Creed series and stuff. I mean, it's just...
Well, and it was like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Like,
yeah.
You don't really... I can't see it.
If you have Mike Tyson in the movie...
Yeah. He's the final...
He's the main villain of the movie, is Mike Tyson.
Yeah?
Yeah. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson presents Nintendo's Punch-Out. Oh, man. We just got another dislike on this video, I bet. 2 more.
2 more.
You're a kid now.
Mm-hmm.
You're a squid now.
Squid.
You're a kid. You're a squid. You're a kid now. Movie tagline. Guess that movie.
Splatoon?
Smart man. You win the monthly May Amiibo, Zach.
Oh, awesome. You can just hand it over, I guess.
Yeah. Saves us some shipping costs.
Yeah.
No. Splatoon movie. I think a very good chance.
I don't.
What?
But for me, personally, I think that this would... This is how I kind of picture it. Remember that show we used to watch when we were little? Called Rocket Power?
Gnarly, bro.
Yeah, I kind of see something maybe in the style of like... They need to do a series, like a TV series of Splatoon where it follows like teams or something, and they do competitions. Like every episode they have maybe a fest, a splat fest, because, I mean, a lot of this is revolving around shooting paint guns and stuff, basically covering the world with paint.
No. Did you play the campaign?
I didn't. I haven't. I played a lot of the multiplayer. I played a ton. We played a lot together. But I have not played the single player campaign at all, actually.
And you call yourself Mr. Koppai.
I'm gonna get into that really soon because I've been really craving that. I've said that repeatedly.
You call yourself Mr. Koppai, and you don't even know about Captain Cuttlefish? Come on.
It sounds familiar, at least.
Yeah, because here's the thing, and the reason I definitely think it could be a movie, and the reason you don't is because you're ignorant on the campaign.
Oh, okay.
And you play a lot of Nintendo games.
Yeah.
You have a wealth of knowledge of Nintendo.
Unfortunately, I haven't gotten to
And Splatoon is honestly one of the very few games that you haven't played of Nintendo. The campaign-wise. You did do a lot of multiplayer.
Yeah, I love Splatoon. Actually, Splatoon is one of my favorite.
No one's doubting that. Well, I mean, there may be some people doubting it, but I'm not. I will. vouch for you.
Okay.
But the campaign is rich in a lore. There's notes you can collect. There's journals. There's things that like explain the rich history of how the Octarians work, who are the enemies. There's impeccable enemy design. Captain Cuttlefish is very, very funny. There's a back and forth discussion with him. There's Judd the cat. There's the Squid Sisters. There's the 3 different people that sell your gear, like Sheldon and the person that has all the feet. I forget their names because there's so many, and they're all based on funny fish puns. There's the drug addict that lives in the alleyway that sells you spiked mushrooms that make you get special gear. There's these characters that have a lot of backstory to them, it seems like, have some very iconic dialogue, and then you have the whole conflict with the Octarians. I think a Splatoon movie works. Furthermore, you have this whole ink thing. You have the underwater theme. I think you have... What are you doing?
Just checking my phone.
Oh, okay. I think you have sort of a SpongeBob-esque sort of movie. Make it in that kind of 3D / live action thing like the SpongeBob movie does, where it's like SpongeBob, Patrick, they're 3D, but they're in like underwater sort of realistic locales. Mm-hmm. Maybe you do something like that with Splatoon. You have the color vibrancy of Splatoon. I think Splatoon is so successful. It is the #1 franchise since the Wii series. The Wii series being the #1 franchise of Nintendo over Mario. And the only reason that we haven't even brought that up for movies is just there's no way a Wii series could be a movie. There's no way the Wii Fit Trainer's getting their own movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have Splatoon then is arguably the #1 new franchise for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Over Mario and stuff. I mean, in Japan and all that. I mean, I just think Splatoon is known to everyone.
Yeah.
You have the conflict with the Octarians. You have the character development. You have dialogue.
Yeah.
So it trumps Mario. It trumps Zelda. It trumps Metroid as far as all of this whole conflict of dialogue and stuff goes. It's visually appealing. It's already set for a Pixar, Disney-esque animation style. It is marketed. It is branded. My vote from all of the series that we've discussed so far is that Splatoon is going to be getting the movie, first and foremost.
Okay, cool. I don't know if you mentioned this because I wasn't really paying attention to anything you just said there, but I'm just kidding.
You're not. You didn't listen to me at all.
The character, when we talked about like how initially we weren't totally sold on the designs of the characters, it'd be a cool way to maybe bring us more around on that.
Make one squidding or inkling like the prominent lead character. Like have the boy, have the girl. 2 different leads.
Add some more character and personality to it. It makes it be like, now I'm more totally sold on these models and everything. Even though I've come around a lot, both of us have on those. Yeah. But yeah.
I think that'd work a lot. And then you have
Indeed,
all the gear,
interesting thoughts. Interesting thoughts. Those are all very interesting. I listened to everything you just said.
Last but not least, let's say we can't just pick one here. And Nintendo decides, you know what?
This is my vote for right out the gate. Nintendo, just blow it all out. One movie.
Super Smash Bros. Movie.
Right.
Subspace Emissary.
Yeah.
Master Hand comes in.
Because that is one of the most hilarious things Nintendo has ever done. Those little cutscenes in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, that might be the highlight of that entire game. Besides, like nostalgia factors and like now looking into the lenses of Melee is obviously mechanically a lot of people argue superior. Smash 4 is like the matured, like complete what is the word? Is the complete embodiment of Smash. It is the complete evolution and maturity. Like, where does it go from here? It's gonna basically be Smash 4 again, with looking maybe a little bit more polished, a little better, but they really refined it with Smash 4. And so I think Brawl, looking back and saying like now it's the outdated one, but
Subspace Emissary
cannot compare. There's nothing in even Smash 4. They didn't go the route. They didn't add a story campaign.
Whoa! You're telling me that Smash Tour didn't adequately replace Subspace Emissary?
All right, you win. Touche.
Give me that one.
I'll give Sakurai and you that one.
My only thing with Subspace Emissary is, or having like a Smash movie similar to lines of Subspace Emissary, is just the fact that it's just like, how do you fit all that into a hour-and-a-half movie? I mean, we just did this podcast where we thought, how do we include each franchise in this?
Yeah.
And that's not even all the Smash franchises that we would have in a movie like that.
Right.
And it's just talking about them, we could barely fit this into 2 hours.
It would be so amazing, though. Like,
it'd be packed. It'd be jam-packed.
Yeah.
The thing is I think it'd just be so fast-paced.
Right.
It would have to be Super Mario or Super Smash Brothers 64 cast, you know. Like those like there'd be no way they could do the Brawl or especially the Smash 4 cast where it's Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Peach, Duck Hunt, and then also every single Pokemon, and then all of the Kid Icarus characters, and then 5 Fire Emblem characters.
Pac-Man.
I mean, you would have to have. I mean, it'd have to be like kind of like Wreck-It Ralph or something where
it's
it
like
was
Civil
like
War.
It's the Avengers. I mean, and that's what I think would happen if something's going to happen. Is I think we see the Mario movie, we see the Zelda movie, we see the Metroid movie, then we do a Super Smash Brothers like an Avengers sort of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're just so distracted right now. You're not even listening to a word I'm saying. Which leads us to the end of this discussion. Thank you so much for listening to this long discussion and reaction to the latest news. This is why we couldn't include it in Koppai Podcast episode 23. Because we're going to have a special guest on this week, and we wanted to talk about each of these possibilities, these speculations. We wanted to make
and think if we would have done that with our guests.
they would be gone. And so
we just hear boom, boom, whatever the
little Skype noise. But I'm really glad we did this because I think there was potential for each franchise to get its own discussion and its own snippet. I think each one had its own individual perspective and point. I mean, I was nervous kind of halfway through that maybe like everything's just going to be like, oh yeah, let's just make it like a Pixar movie. But we had some interesting thing there, like with an F-Zero being Mad Max. Where else are you going to find that online? That speculation, that discussion.
There's no play like it. Koppai. There's no Koppai.
Hey, that's not ours. That's Nintendo's slogan. We're gonna get sued or something.
There's no Koppai like it is not their slogan.
That's weird.
That's original enough.
But because we discussed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 different franchises tonight.
Yeah.
And most news outlets, I bet, are gonna be like, I wonder how a Mario movie would work. And we're like, let's do the deep cuts. How do we do a Punch-Out movie? How do we get Tom Hardy to star as Captain Falcon? So, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe if you did like the video. Be sure to share the snippets with your friends. Check out the snippets online. If you want to hear each individual movie discussion, if you really liked our F-Zero discussion, or if you really liked the Animal Crossing movie pitch, you can go find the individual discussions. We're going to cut this whole episode because it is so long, but we'll also have it available as one long format for everyone to listen to. We also have Koppai Podcast episode 22 up. We recorded it live after we did some Hot Pepper Gaming, so it's we're a little fried in it, but we do have some very good speculation. Star Wars Battlefront on the NX, Mass Effect Andromeda on the NX, as well as a whole bunch of other speculation about what we could get out of a Splatoon sequel. So that's up and live, and we're also going to be doing some more live streaming. Some Let's Play archives will be going up, so we have a whole bunch of content along with this mammoth of a reaction video. And so thank you so much for listening. Be sure to leave your thoughts down below. We were going to do a Would You Rather have the Nintendo maybe live action or whatever, but I think all those questions are kind of pending on what the franchise you're dealing with is, and we address all of those in the individual discussions. And so just go to those snippets and leave your comments on what you'd like to see, or you can leave them here. Be sure to like, subscribe, share. If you do subscribe, you're entered to win an amiibo for the month of May. And if you refer us to one of your friends and they contact us and say that they were sent because of you, then you get another amiibo entry. Head over to patreon.com/Koppai Productions. Give us $1 where you get a whole bunch of discussion. And until next time, Dang, dude.
Ah.
Was that too long? Be honest with me, was that too long? You're not even answering me. Get back here, Zach.
I had to check on Simba. I was concerned about him. Because I just left him with that short chewy that he could choke on and die.
Was that too long?
No, I don't think so.